APS Muscle Cars, ladies and gentlemen. That APS Muscle Cars, we got some new facilities going on in Signal Hill, California, guys. If you got your low riders or maybe your hot rods or your Harley, something like that, even, whatever you got, you might some ATVs that you want to store. You done ran out of room at the crib, so I want you to check this dude out. His name is Memo. That's Memo, and that's APSmusclecars.com here, ladies and gentlemen. And then I also want to give a very special shout out to G Babies Catering, ladies and gentlemen. G Babies Catering LLC. So I want you to check out Chef Mac. You can find him most notably on Instagram. And again, that is G Babies Catering, GBABIES Catering, ladies and gentlemen. So check him out. That's my nephew. So, ladies and gentlemen, I also want to give a very special shout out to WMPJ Steelworks. He is also members, the man of steel here on the Poetry of Justice show, ladies and gentlemen. So we have a great time here, and I'm super, super, super duper excited tonight because we've got some great talent in the house and some beautiful people, and it's gonna be all love in here tonight. But what I do have to do is I have to give a very special shout out to y'all. I'm moving a little awkward here tonight, but I got to give a very special shout out to JackieRay. So this guy has been really cool. We connected on Instagram, and so he's been following me and blessing me with some uplifting things. And so I just want to give him a shout out. He asked me to do so. This is his first time listening, so we wanted to take the opportunity to do that tonight. So very special shout out, ladies and gentlemen. So tonight, what we're going to be doing, Lori, do we got everything going good with our technology? I'm gonna let Sissy talk for a little bit, guys.
Yes, I believe we do. We
Talk to us.
had some trouble connecting the live feed to Facebook from
Okay.
Zoom, but I think Rashid and I got it, right, Rashid?
Okay, when we got Facebook everywhere. Lord, do we have any Zoom people in the Zoom room tonight?
I have the Zoom
Everyone
room
know?
open,
Okay, cool.
but they haven't joined us
Cause
just
we
yet.
live tonight. People be
We
like, they
are.
live again now. We want to come back to the live version of it. ladies and gentlemen. Aaron. So let me just so you guys razzle dazzle me, you guys, and tell me everything up front, Lord Rocker. But what I gotta do is no, I'm just being silly with you, Lord Rocker. Lord Rocket, ladies and gentlemen, is definitely no stranger to the Poetry of Justice show, nor Yikes Radio or here at Accelerated Radio. Lord Rocker, ladies, I'm gonna just, go ahead and just put it out there. How I met Lord Rocker is actually 4 years ago now, ladies and gentlemen, because I want to give a shout out. Lord, I forgot to shout us out, guys. This is our 4th year. This is our anniversary, girl. It's May
Yes, it
1st.
is. It's
Are you
May
excited
1st.
about it? Yeah.
Wow,
It's our
congratulations.
4th years with yikesradio.com. How did I yikesradio.com? Did I forget to say that? I didn't even put it on any of our social media, Slayo. What was wrong with me? Anyway, I don't know. I was just moving too fast, guys, making everything happen for us. And that's how long it's been since I've been blessed to know Lord Rocca. But I've just been so many things changing. I put it this way: the pandemic, for me at least, allowed me to start making much more courageous choices and decisions. You know what I mean? I think probably things I probably normally would not have done. It's like, oh, okay, I'm gonna take that chance. I'm gonna go for mine. So I just wanted to say that Lord Rocca is just been a gem to us here at the Poetry of Justice show. So I just want to give you your respect off top. Yes.
We love Lord Rock.
Yeah.
Thank you so
Yeah,
much.
on so many levels. This guy's an actor, a filmmaker, a rapper, a
Casting
A
musician.
director.
superhero,
I-
all of that.
He's everything.
Right.
You know what I'm saying?
Break stages.
Yeah, no, he really truly.
Thank you so much for the love and the appreciation. This is definitely my favorite show. Is the Jackie Ray
I
show.
love you. God bless
She
you.
has definitely helped me, with my career personally, just by interviewing me and showing a lot of love to my music. And I knew that she would have it in her heart to show love for an artist, which I think is dope. And it's so crazy because I um, believe in her, like as far as like I feel like she feels energy and she knows when there's gonna be good energy around her. Like she knows how to predict it. So I knew when I told her, hey, I have an artist I think you should meet. He's dope and I think you're gonna love his music. And she said, all right, come on, let's do it. And it's happening right now. So thank you
Yeah,
so
I know,
much,
I know.
Jackie, for
You're
believing in
welcome.
me and making this happen.
Oh,
Shout out to Lori.
Lori G. So I'm just gonna get ready because we're gonna just shower you with attention tonight, sir. I just had to give respect, you know what I'm saying, and then we just keep it moving smooth. But Aaron Bones is in the house tonight. How are you, Aaron?
I am doing great. How are you doing?
Okay, so Aaron, I just found out that we're from the same hometown.
Oh,
So
yeah.
like, okay, so like, Lori.
Yeah, Compton.
All right.
Compton's
See,
in
we
the
did
house.
absolutely.
Come on, man.
Y'all
All
didn't-
right.
they didn't even
You should have led
try.
with that, Aaron. You should have led with that.
Okay, did you go to school in Compton too?
Oh yeah,
Okay, what high school did you go to?
Compton High.
Oh,
Shut it
Oh,
up.
there
now
it is.
absolutely.
Is that all he had to say was Compton High?
Compton High. That's it. That's all
That's
you
it.
gotta say.
Compton High, Tar Babe alumni.
Shut it down.
Babes.
Mhm.
That's it.
How we do.
That's it.
Boom, boom.
Well, you're already Grammy Award winning. So there you go. That qualifies you.
Pretty much. That's
Yeah.
all it takes. Yay. I'm so super juiced. Okay. Where'd you graduate? What year?
2012.
All right now.
Yeah.
See, Boom, boom, boom. Rashid's looking at me like, yeah, right, Jackie. What's happening here tonight?
No, school full of greatness, man. A lot
That's
of
right.
great people walk through those hallways, you know.
I know. What is Dr. Dre's music? I have a whole lot of more other questions, but how has Dr. Dre's music impact you? Or
Oh.
has it at all? You know what I'm
no,
saying?
definitely. Growing up, just knowing that these people were like representations of Compton and what Compton can breed. You know,
Mhm.
like they actually started the gangster rap like movement, the music against the police. Protest music. And
Mhm.
that's like a mark in history. And just to know that I'm from the same city as these like.
Right?
People, it's
What do you even
crazy,
say?
like-
Legend? What's the word? What even is
Yeah.
the word? I don't even know.
Yeah, it's crazy, man, and it just shows that these streets like breed talent, greatness, and people always have this negative connotation on what Compton is, but once you look past all of the crazy headlines and all that type of stuff, you look at the people. It's the people that make the city.
Absolutely.
Yeah,
Yeah, we good. People. What, Lori? Go ahead.
No, I didn't have anything.
No,
I'm
no,
just
no.
so
I was just gonna
proud,
say.
just
I
so
know. I
proud.
know. I know.
Absolutely.
I know.
And-
People
Because
used
I
to
think
say-
we get such a bad rap.
Tell 'em.
Oh,
Right?
definitely.
There's everybody
Rashid.
focuses on the level of negativity that
Right.
comes out of our city, and there's not enough focus and emphasis on the positivity. Like young men like you that are just blowing up
Mhm.
and creating, as Lord Rocka says, great vibes,
Right,
right?
right.
And that you can be a role model for other young men in that community that need to see that level of positivity. So,
Yeah, it's
Wow.
definitely the goal, man. That's if you're not inspiring people, then what are you doing with your talents?
Your
you know?
life. Like, what are you
Absolutely.
doing? Right? If you're not healing or trying. That was one of my questions. See, look at. Remember the other night when we did our pre-show interview?
Mhm.
I was taking notes. So here we go. We talked a little bit about. We're gonna get all into your music. We're gonna do a whole lot of stuff. So I'm just gonna go where the spirit leads me, and we just kind of relax, chill, and just kind of feel the vibe. We got the whole natural organic thing from Compton in the house, and we just gonna chill out. But I know we talked about justice, and I remember you stated to me that justice, the word to you, meant fair treatment.
Mhm.
You know what I mean? But what I was gonna ask you, based on that fair treatment, right? What did you think about the George Floyd verdict?
I felt like it was definitely a fair judgment. I mean, he murdered a man. Like if
Right.
anybody with eyes can see that man is guilty, and the fact that the justice system kind of like runs people through loops and stuff
Mhm.
to kind of find all this unnecessary details and stuff to make him not look like a criminal. It's
Mhm.
crazy. It just shows how against us as a people that the justice system
It
is.
really is, right?
Yeah.
And how deep it goes. What about you, Lord Rocker? Any thoughts on that? On the
On the on the verdict,
yes, sir.
I think it was a good step.
Hmm.
But until he gets sentenced, then I truly won't feel satisfied about that situation. We all can see, like Aaron said, that he killed George Floyd. It was the whole world seeing it. But I think him receiving getting the verdict was good. But again, until he gets sentenced, then we could put a cap on it.
Lloyd, what about you? Because I'm going somewhere with all of this. What about you?
yeah, I when I was listening to the after the verdict, and then it was the police chief for that division of Minneapolis that came forward, and he said something that I thought was really interesting. He said he didn't feel that justice had been served,
Mhm.
but he felt that accountability was happening.
Yes.
And I think, Lord Rocker, you hit on it, and the light bulb kind of went off for me
Mhm.
just now, is when you said because I'm like, well, accountability is justice, isn't
Mhm.
it? But maybe not, because
Mhm.
it's going to be the sentencing phase
Right.
that closes that entire loop.
Right.
Right.
Exactly.
That we could have gotten the verdict, but if we don't have the level of accountability for the degree of which you were sentenced, right,
Mhm.
then that's only when we can determine whether or not things were just.
Right. Exactly.
Right. What about you, Rashid?
I mean, I'm on the same boat where it's literally the verdict was unanimous. Right, guilty on all three charges. That was going to be pretty obvious. Right, you have to be Stephen Wonder blind to not see that that literally the knee on his neck led to the passing of George Floyd.
Yes.
And it's like, but the job is not done yet because in the state of Minnesota, he can at most serve like 12 years
At most.
at most.
I
Wow.
thought on TV
Like
they said
30.
he
Yeah,
could
that's-
get up to 40 years is what he
Yeah,
was
that's what I-
facing.
No, I heard.
Is that on
what
all
you
the
said was
accounts?
12. I think the
What?
most he can do is 12. Yeah, I heard the
Oh,
same thing.
Rashid, can
Oh,
you
yeah.
taking a
please
life?
look that up?
Yeah.
Okay,
How you
so
feel like?
Yeah.
so literally how the rulings go, it's on a state by state basis because out here in California,
Mm-hmm.
like on each charge itself, that the main charge that would be 40 years.
Mm-hmm.
Like the next charge, I think that would be an additional 15. I think the last charge would be like 20. So basically, out here he be basically serving life
Wow.
in prison.
Mm-hmm.
But out in Minnesota, he can probably serve like maybe 12, 15, maybe 20 max of prison time, and then he can still appeal the actual sentencing because of what the judge said about what Auntie Maxine said.
Which is?
Basically, she didn't say it this exact way, but basically how it can be interpreted as is if the right verdict isn't given, um, going to come together and there's going to be riots in the streets.
Wow.
It could be taken that way. That's not exactly what she said, but it's like it could be taken to
At that level.
Right.
Wow. I don't know, guys. I don't know, but we don't want to do a Debbie Downer. We've already done a Debbie Downer. So what we want to do is we want to get back up on the good foot. So let's get some music going on. What would you like for us to showcase first tonight going forward there?
We can actually start off with one of my first songs that I've uploaded to media platforms. It's called Sometimes, and it was actually produced by my producer, Slayo.
Slayo. Woohoo! Okay, so Slayo, we're going to talk to you after we play the set. Is that cool?
Oh, that's perfect. That's dope.
That's all right.
Ain't gon' check on me. Won't let it get to me. Your girl's in my life more than you nowadays. I really hope you find a way. Hope everything is okay. Hope the rent getting paid. Hope them dudes at your job stay away. Cause I know they've been waiting. Baby, I know they've been waiting. Cause I would've been too. That's why I'm here in your life. Just to see if you're alive. Making up any old excuse First thing that comes to mind, I ain't gon' beg like David Ruffin, but I'll wait on your reply. No rare receipts and nothing, delivered to the sky, baby, sometimes. Can we talk more than just sometimes? It's either hardly ever, sometimes. Can I get a ring from you sometimes? Sometimes, and sometimes, and sometimes, and sometimes. Can I get a ring from you sometime? It's either hardly ever, sometimes. Baby, can we talk more than sometimes? Sometimes, and sometimes, and sometimes, and sometimes. Ain't gon' check on me, yeah. Ain't no texting me, I won't let it get to me. You don't know how it's affecting me, yeah. You hang with your boys more than me nowadays. This ain't the boy that I raised. You know that I'm up in age, working 10-hour days. And you always away on my off days, I know. You recording, Aaron, I know. You recording, but I wanna see you. I got like 6 grown kids. I only talk to like 3. I ain't gon' beg like David Ruffin for none of y'all to come and see me. No, I love you no matter. You fall on your knees, but it'll answer all my prayers. If I could finally hear from you sometimes. Can we talk more than just sometimes? It's either hardly ever, sometimes. Can I get a ring from you sometimes? Sometimes, and sometimes, and sometimes, and sometimes. Can I get a ring from you sometimes? Can I get a? It's either hardly ever, sometimes. It is hardly ever. Baby, can we talk more than sometimes? Sometimes, and sometimes, and sometimes, and sometimes. Hello? Hey, Ma. Nah, I just still at the stew.
Yeah, that never got me too when I
You got me.
You give me that
I was like, what?
That song so long ago, I forgot that was even on there.
It is.
Yeah, that's so crazy.
Wow.
I was like, what? Right, that was a good one. Content.
Thank you.
It is.
I love that. Okay, look. Okay, so what was you gonna say? I'm sorry. You gonna say something?
I was putting
I'm
my earphones
sorry,
back on.
Aaron. What does music do to you?
Music is an escape. It's a lot of crazy stuff going on in this world, you know. And you know, me and my partners, me and my friends, we use music as an escape to, you know, like tell our story, you know, to kind of like get out of all of the bad head space, you know, and to even if you have pain, you can write pain down and make it sound good, you know, and you never know who can relate to your pain, you know. So I try to make some stuff that people can relate to.
I love it.
And I've been getting a lot of, you know, relatable feedback, you know, with people, you know, saying that they feel like I was talking to them personally through my songs. And I was telling my story.
We were
all-
just talking about
that
this
on the
in
drive
the
to
friggin'
station.
car on the way to the station. Can you give me just sometime? No, straight real.
Sometimes.
Why is it always me, the initiator of the text messaging? Why can't it be you? Just sometimes.
Sometimes, yeah, you know.
You know what I'm saying,
Y'all
Slayo?
feel me.
Just
I am so
sometimes.
feeling
You know what I mean?
feel
And I'm
me.
like, dang, you know, I'm not, but I did this. Okay, so Slayo, let's talk about your creative involvement. First, let's talk about what does music do to you?
man. Music is just. I've been a student of music for a long time. Like my parents put that in me. You know, we was in the house like when I was young, listening to Marvin Gaye, Ohio players like Erykah Badu, and not even realizing like how that would germinate like in us. I never thought that I would be a producer or that we would even make our own music, but just that root of having like good parents and like that good upbringing. And you learned that from them. Like, what else is there to say? You know what I'm saying? Like Dr. Dre, you get so many different pots.
This is so much.
Yeah, it's
right?
also a foundation for us.
I love that. I love that. I don't know, Lori. What does music do to you? How about that, Sissy?
You know, music brings emotionality to me. It takes me places that can make me happy or can make me sad. It takes me down memory lane about things that brought me joy, but also things that help me grow as a person. So it's just, you know, you can always listen to some music and feel better. At least I can. Always feel better.
Right. I'm reminded of the OJs. I love music. Any kind of music, right? Just some real good music.
Absolutely.
What about you, Slayer? Where were you raised and what's some of your history and background?
I was raised right down the street from bro.
Compton, man.
I went to Compton High.
You make me weak at the knees. Just weekend.
The crazy part is I
We're
went to
for
Compton
out
High.
You did?
I went to Compton High, but I was 2 grades above him and all my friends. So my brother is the engineer. I'm the producer. My brother's the engineer, but
Shout
my
out to
brother
CA.
is the one that went to school and was in class with them. So like we somehow just came together as like this like super team or whatever. But I went to Compton High. I grew up right down the street on Compton Boulevard. You know what I mean? Different middle schools, same high school and everything. And all of us in the whole circle.
What middle school?
I went to Davis.
Don't even play with me.
I grew up right there off of Rosecrans and Wilmington. Yeah. Yes.
That's right around the corner from the crib.
Mm-hmm.
So we right there between Wilmington and Oleander, like Occasion, Oleander.
Right
We
there.
right there in the cut. Boom.
Right there.
Right there.
That's home.
That's home.
That's still home.
Right there. T-Flat,
Don't play with me.
Treetops,
Don't play.
Town.
You are, yeah.
That's
Look at
home.
that.
That's always gonna be home.
Real
That's
Compton,
for real.
baby, stomping grounds for real.
Yeah.
Really was in the streets.
Yeah, y'all that real.
You'd be surprised at how many people.
Anytime you like.
You are clearly part of the family.
Yeah.
Easy.
It's a privilege.
That part right there. We were cheerleaders. We did the whole thing at
What?
CF. All of it.
So much history in here.
Yeah,
Tar
all the
babes,
way. Yeah, I can pull
Man.
up some pictures later, show you the truth.
Oh, for sure. Definitely want to see those. Yeah.
Back in 1920, right?
Oh.
Don't do it like that.
Don't do it, lady.
But why I like it so much is that, for real though, I remember when Lori and I were growing up, and like in the 80s, we came up. Lori graduated in 82. I graduated in 85. So we didn't really know what was going on at the time, but when the crack era hit, you know what I'm saying? It was just like boys that I done been going to school with since I'm like 5, 6 years old, and all of a sudden everybody got cars and money and jewelry, and you're like, whoa, you know, where is all this stuff coming from? And so I remember that people would always debate with my sister and I about where we were from. Like if you go to another city, you know, you go to Carson Mall, or where are you from? Compton. Oh no, you can't be from Compton. No, huh, Lori? Oh no, you can't be from what? They don't make girls like you in Compton. What does that mean? You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Did you guys run into that as men growing up from the city?
I would believe so.
Look
Yeah.
at Slayer.
I'm shaking my head because I can talk about this. I'm gonna
It's
try to keep it
crazy
short.
because they just have like an idea of what a Compton person is, and you know we come
A
around.
Compton person stereotype.
Yeah, and it's like weird,
Like,
you
what
know,
the
like
fuck
they
is
expect you to
weird?
be walking around with your pants sagging with.
Prototype
Yeah.
251.
It's crazy, and then you know me and Slayo,
Look at
we
Slayo's
do
face.
this. We do this
I
type
gotta
of.
hear Slayo's
I know
story.
he
There's
will. Oh,
yeah,
a
he got it.
story in there. There's a
Yeah, go
story
on, go
inside.
No.
I'm trying to keep it short.
Keeping it together.
But if you think about it, Compton is called the hub city for a reason. We are
That's it.
literally the center of
Yes.
Southern
It all.
California.
Yes.
sir.
Like everybody has to go through Compton to get to where you want to go. So Compton is not just a city, and it's crazy because we were talking about my mother. She went to school with DJ Quick, Davis Middle School,
Don't play with me.
Davis Junior High School.
You already.
Yes.
That's what I went with, and was there with
Yeah.
Quick.
That's
Right.
where
Was
we
there a
went.
quick too?
Yeah,
Mhm.
right around the
But it
We
shows
grew
you
up on
like,
Arbutus.
Yeah.
We're on Arbutus and Oleander. So you shut up, right?
That's the industry.
I
you
grew
like-
up.
You live on Arbutus?
You live on Arbutus?
I grew up. The house that my great grandmother bought when she came out here from Texas, like in the 40s, is off on Arbutus and Arambu.
See, that's right down. Okay, so at the
That's
bottom
for
line,
real.
Yeah.
That's
Miss
right at the
Simpson?
One block
corner.
Miss
down.
Simpson.
Miss
What's your grandmother's
Norman.
name?
Miss Norman.
I'm thinking about Miss Simpson. You remember the Simpsons right on
I
the
remember
on
the
the corner of the
Simpsons,
big
yeah.
the White House right there on the
Uh-huh.
corner.
Yeah.
Well, we also like
He was
come-
right across the street.
Okay.
From the Simmons, the Kellys,
Yes.
Chris Kelly and them.
Yes,
Exactly.
absolutely.
Okay,
Yeah.
so
The
you
world is
coming
so
down,
small.
you know, you done been at Compton Boulevard, so you just leaving Compton High, you know what I mean? So
Yeah.
you coming down Oleander from the street of the
Mhm,
school, and you just
mhm,
keep rolling on
mhm.
past Compton
Yeah.
Boulevard, and you just trucking on.
Make that
And then
left
you
on
know, right now
Arbutus.
you got to do something. You either gonna go
Yeah.
left or right.
Yeah.
If you keep going, you're gonna run into our house.
Yeah. Okay.
So that's that's the
Right in the
spot.
same
That's right in the
neighborhood.
cut.
So that's why I'm trying to keep it short because there's so much history right there. But Compton is a city where, you know, Serena and Venus Williams. There's so much history.
Lori and JackieRay.
Exactly.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah. So they try to put us in a box,
No, I'm just saying.
you know, as gangbangers
For
or
sure.
whatever we want to be.
Sure.
But at the same time, you look at us, people probably look at us and be like, they ain't from Compton. Well, what is
Mhm.
Compton?
Right.
You can't put Compton in the box.
You're right.
Compton is the hub for everything. So, you know, it's like black. Black is the center of all colors. Compton is a city that is the center of Southern California. You know what I'm saying?
Nah, facts, bro.
I know,
Yeah.
right? Lord, damn it. I don't even have my Do you have your notes still from when we interviewed Rodney Lister?
Absolutely, I
You do. Remember we did that memory lane? Remember that little memory lane research on the city of Compton? And
Yeah.
its
we did.
origination. But yeah, what we did, we were able to do, guys, maybe about 3 weeks ago now, we interviewed one of the candidates for our fair city. His name is Rodney Lister. And so he came in a couple of times and we were able to interview him and why he thought he would be able to lead our city. But he didn't make it to the last 2 rounds. So, but anyway, you know, you go out there and you make it happen. So, but anyway, we did a little bit more research on the city, you know, just kind of getting back in there, getting back into the culture and when Centennial was built and why Centennial was built and when Dominguez was built and why Dominguez was built. You know what I mean? The overflow from Compton and when it, yes, sir.
Nah,
And when it transitioned, you know, from how it just kind of filtered over, you know what I mean? And when it went out from the whites moving out to the blacks moving in, and then from the blacks moving out into, you know, Hispanics moving in, and then now this melting pot, but how does it melt now? You know what I'm saying? You know, but do you guys still get a lot of grief just in the, you know, from law enforcement and stuff like that? Is it still kind of problematic? Because I know my, you know, possible maybe one day son-in-law, I don't know, but I know he's in the hood right there in the crib what we talked to you about. And, you know, it's sort of like you know when to go out, what time of day to go out, like Fridays at about 5, 6 o'clock, you ain't trying to go out because you know you're about to get gaffled up, you know what I'm saying? Little stuff like that. Do you guys still experience stuff like that?
I mean, not as bad as it used to be, because I remember times when I was younger and used to roll around with my older cousins. We used to get stopped by the police all the time, and it's actually been times where I was like with younger siblings than I was, probably around like 7, 8, and the police officers had us out the cars, sitting on the curb, and sitting in the back of police cars, you know, just thinking that we were like gang members and stuff. And it's like, wow, like, you know, but that was like honestly when I was younger. But now it's not really as bad. You might get pulled over every now and then just so they can kind of check your temperature, but other than that, it's pretty rare.
That's good to know, huh, Lord?
That is very good.
That's very good to know. I'm sorry, I got so razzle dazzle. Lord, you got anything on the docket? Because y'all got so much more to go. I want to share.
Well, I want to know where Sometimes came from. Who wrote that? What was the thought behind it? How is it producing that?
Okay, well, yeah. So Sometimes came from Slayo actually made the beat first before I even wrote anything. And he showed me the beat. I loved it. I sat on the beat for probably a couple of days, and I kind of just let it happen by itself. The song is about an ex of mine. Well, the first verse is about an ex of mine who I was trying to get back in contact with after, you know, some ghosting. You know, I was trying to get back in contact with her. And that's what leads to the hook. Sometimes, can I get a ring for you? Sometimes. And then it flips. The second verse is actually about my mom. So while I'm so focused on getting the girls' attention in the first verse, I'm in the studio writing music. I'm going to shows. I'm doing all of this extracurricular stuff, and I was neglecting my mother. So my mother was the one coming at me saying, can I get a call from you sometimes because I haven't heard from you. You know, I just want to know if you're good. So it's kind of like the first verse is about the girl I was chasing, and then the second verse is about my mom chasing me.
Okay.
That is so cool. Look at that.
I like
But
that.
I love that David Ruffin. I'm not gonna beg like David Ruffin.
Yeah, he knew what he was doing. He knew what he was doing.
I know, right? I know, right?
Tried to swag it out.
That
did,
sounds
you did.
super, super exciting.
Kids not gonna get that reference though.
No, they
Kids
won't.
don't know that.
Well, our kids would.
Y'all kids.
The Temptations is an anthem that they watch at least
Oh,
what?
You have to watch it from start to
at
finish.
least once every
Oh
2
my
weeks.
gosh. I'm the
Start to
best.
finish.
I'm the worst. I love it. I watch it all the time. I have a question for you. DMX, Dark Man X, Earl Simmons. How did his music impact you?
Honestly, DMX, when I was growing up, he was like the first artist that made songs that were like hype. You know, it was like he'd come on and he had like a lot of energy, just yelling, the barking, and all that type of stuff. So that's what stuck out to me when I was younger, and then it kind of made me follow him a little bit as as I was growing up. And honestly, as I got older, I just started to see him for like the lyricist that he was, like the chances that he took, and the fact that he brought his label back from nothing with like back-to-back like multi-platinum albums, and he single-handedly brought his record label back from the grave, and it was crazy. And just to see that one man has that type of impact, it was amazing. You know, shout out to the East Coast.
And did you have guys DMX Day, Lori, on his birthday? So it's now in New York. It's DMX Day on December 18th on his birthday. Isn't that awesome?
That's really cool.
I thought that was like super cool myself.
Sure, to be that impactful,
right?
So where they, celebrate your birthday on like a statewide,
right?
thing is crazy. Like we only
like
can aspire to get to them type of levels.
I know. And then, did you guys ever catch the show of him on Yana Van Zant's show? Did you guys ever catch it? If one day, if you chance YouTube it, just one day when you're in the cut, it was interesting. But he let her know. Oh my God, him and her went round and round, pound for pound. That was an interesting one. But anyway, just wanted to know about that. So, what would you do if you could have the power to completely change the world? Where would you start?
Oh wow, that's deep.
I know, but
to change the world, I would definitely. Ooh, yeah, that's a deep one. I would.
It's okay.
I would get rid of all of the racists and the rapists and all of the people that just bring harm, all of the crazy people. I would definitely, all of the hungry countries, I would lend assistance to them, just to get everybody up on good standards,
Yes.
And then like you gotta start with the kids for sure. Like the kids, you have to breed them up to be the future. So that will honestly be my main focus, to kind of like bring the arts back to the kids. It's not a lot of stuff like that out in the cities that we grew up in. We didn't grow up with that type of, technology or resources and stuff. So I would definitely work on the educational system so we can have a better future for the kids.
I know. I think so too, because that's where everything starts. What about you, Slayo? Changing the world. This is just...
I mean, to be honest, we do have the power to change the world. Like, it's not something that's so far-fetched, but just think about if every individual person decided to change themselves for the better, like the world would be changed overnight. So it's all about self-improvement. Like that's all it is, looking in the mirror and just improving yourself. Like if every single person held themselves accountable and was able to like reflect and just, okay, I'm gonna do better.
Right.
Every day I'm gonna get 1% better. Just imagine how different the world would be. You see what I'm saying? So it's really not that far-fetched. We just have to try to change ourselves. And just worry about yourself. And as long as you are doing your part, it's gonna like reflect on other people. It's gonna spread. You know what I'm saying? That's all we gotta do.
And adopt the mindset of do unto others that I want done to me. And once everybody kind of gets that cracking, then everything's gonna be wonderful.
Exactly.
What about you, Rashid?
Hey.
That's CA and DC. Hey guys.
I mean, DMX, I think overall as a person, he literally put his life out there. He showed you the demons that he was facing.
Right. That's what I'm saying.
On a regular basis. He showed you what he was going through. He basically cried out for help.
Yes. Several times. That's so true. Yeah. Well, look at here. We've got some new New
faces in the
faces in
studio.
the crib tonight. How you guys doing tonight, gentlemen? We'll get deets later. Is that cool? All right, that's so cool. All right, Mr. Aaron Bones. It's all about you tonight. You want to hear some more music?
Oh,
Just
sure.
gonna say
Yeah,
that.
we need to hear
I'd
some
like
more
to hear
music.
that.
Let's rock the house a little bit.
We can hear Top of the World.
All right, sounds good.
If they die before they wake up, pray the Lord that's all the time. That's my prayer for all these sleeping niggas. I've been in the lab getting ready for the season, nigga. And I'm feeling real seasoned, nigga. It's the type of comeback to make you niggas think it's Jesus. And I'm still top tier when I'm not here. Hit rock bottom this year. Feeling like I'm on top of the world right now. See, it got me feeling on top of the world right now. This Henny got me feeling on top of the world right now. New flow, new glow, I can get top from your girl right now. Right now, slide on me, will you slide on me? Let her sing it on the mic and she la-di-died on me. And you know what it is, panties to the side for me. And don't tell me you love me unless you would die for me. I'm stuck in my ways, I move at my pace. Trying to part the clouds to see the brighter days. Got it out the mud, you can see the stains. I've been making moves, I've been running plays. I feel like John Madden. I just want it all, cause a nigga never had it. I was down bad, man, I hated being stagnant. Felt like I was in a casket. Rest in peace to Pops, I know that love is everlasting. I'm still sticking to everything we established. Still foot on their necks until we get to the check. And I don't entertain nothing when they talking who next. Cause these niggas all capped like they yelling through text. Cause ain't nothing new under the sun these days. But this fade, yeah. Water on my wrist, got a new wave, yeah. Donald Trump head, boy, I'm too paid, yeah. To be tamed, yeah. It's the fruit for the flies, I'm the truth and the lies. I'm not for the ties, even on my worst day, boy, I'm still in first place. Feeling like I'm on top of the world right now. Right now. CA got me feeling on top of the world right now. This Henny got me feeling on top of the world right now. New flow, new glow, I can get top from your girl right now. I hit it right now. Like, circle season every season. We ain't going viral, nigga, we going spiral.
January to December.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. Inspiration behind that, please, sir.
The inspiration behind that one was I was kind of feeling. Oh, you came. That's player. That's player. That's player.
Yeah. Look at everybody. Look at what Lord Rocker got us.
Lord Rocker style.
I love him. God bless Lord Rocker. I'm so sorry. Let's go. Yay.
No, but the inspiration behind that one, it was actually after my dad passed away in August of 2019. I was kind of out of it. I pretty much lost a lot of my inspiration. I was kind of down in the dumps. And the reason why I had my engineer CA come and sit next to me because he wanted me to come to the studio and record that song. So he had me in the studio recording that song. That's why I kind of shouted him out in the hook, just to show how grateful I was for him helping me kind of get out of that slump.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that one, honestly, I dedicated that one to my pops, just letting them know that the mission still continues.
And so that was in 2019, you said?
That was 2019.
Yeah,
Sorry to hear that.
I know. We lost our mommy August of 2018.
Rest in peace. My condolences.
Yes, I know.
That's tough. Something that you can never mentally prepare for.
No,
you can't. I mean, anyway, but moving on. But that's where the music comes from. When we took this pain in the music, like I know in my poetry, it's just you just dig into yourself and just get it out. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It takes a lot of courage. Though.
No, definitely.
It absolutely takes a lot of courage. What you think, Lord J? When are you gonna start sharing some of your poetry with us?
I don't know.
You don't know, Goonie. Why not?
I don't know.
You're being such a silly.
I want to hear some. She got some.
I know.
Got some stuff in the vault.
It's like deep in the vault.
I know.
But it was kind of like connects me, or what I kept thinking about when we were talking about music can change and inspire, right? and it's also reflective or a voice for how you're existing in the world at that time.
Right.
And so it really spoke to me that you're being on top of the world.
I know.
That's great, because it was like what Slayo said, right? If everybody does something incrementally to change themselves, then we change and we create a new world.
Definitely.
Now, was that any of that in your mind or in your thinking when you put this together, that this is going to be a part of a political voice for you?
I know, right?
Yeah, definitely. I mean, when I was writing it, I knew that it was saying something important. You know, something that, you know, people can connect to, something that people can vibe to. Honestly, it's something that people can, you know, aspire to do. You know, because one of the lyrics is, "I hit rock bottom this year. Fuck it,
Right.
feeling like I'm on top of the world right now." It just shows that you can always rise. You can always rise up from the
Right.
deepest depths of your sadness. You can always come out on top. You
Absolutely.
just gotta be willing to fight forward.
Absolutely. That's so powerful. So powerful.
I love
And
it.
how was this experience for you?
Honestly, in my musical experience, I try to use like these perfect like life experiences. Like that was a perfect life experience for Bones and us to make a song with that much emotion, because we go through all these life experiences and from there we create art. So like in most cases when I'm around my friends, people that I'm real close with, and I'm in the studio with them, if it is something going on in their life, I know for a fact I got them in the right spot, you know what I mean? And sorry about that. And it's on me to kind of like get that art out. So it's like maybe it's just coming to the studio, listening to some records, or you know what I mean? But in that situation, really seeing Bones, like, you know, like he said, I wanted him to come to the studio so he could, you know, get that out. You know what I'm saying? Seeing him in the down spot, I didn't want to see him like that, but I know that he's always in a good spot when he creates something lovely. You know what I mean? So it just came out that way. Honestly, thank you. Appreciate it. It just really just came out that way, just like, you know, just bro was just chilling and you know what I mean? I just wanted him to get out of the bad spot, and he just created something lovely, and from there, rose to the top right there.
It helped me out a lot for sure. For sure.
I love that. My goodness. How did you know when did you fall in love with music, sir? Okay, you got it. You got it. My bad. My bad.
Honestly, that's a very good question, because I fell in love with music. Really, man, I couldn't even tell you like the birth spot when I fell in love with music, because music has always been in my household. You know what I mean?
Brother.
Yeah, that's my blood brother. That's my older brother.
Slayo talked about you.
Yeah. Oh wow.
Yeah.
Hopefully you said good things.
Absolutely.
That's great. That's great. Well, me growing up, my mom, she had a very good taste in music. My dad did as well. So like me and Mel, we just was around a lot of music growing up for sure. So I knew growing up, like leaving high school, I wanted to do something in the art. You know what I mean? If it was from TV, from music or whatever. So I just knew my love of art was going to transform into me having a profession, you know what I'm saying, in music and whatnot. I just luckily found the profession of audio engineering. And from there, I just like, you know, really just stuck with it. It was like something I never learned before. I felt like a kid just learning a new video game or something. So I just, you know, kept going from there. 9 years in the making. But, you know, my love of music just, you know, it predates everything. You know what I mean?
Right.
I just grew up in a musical household for the most part.
I love music too.
And so how did you guys get connected?
High school. We
Was
all
it
went
high
to,
school?
we all went to the
All
same
same
high
time?
school.
That
Don't
lovely,
even
beautiful
play with
high
me
school.
again. Not again.
Man.
My whole gang is from Compton. We all went to Compton High. Compton thorough through and through for sure.
Nah, original circle for sure.
I got
Originally
Mr.
Compton High.
Lister on here talking about what he says. Rodney, Big Rod. He goes, imagine hearing that in college. He goes, you don't seem like you're from Compton. I'm like, what do you mean? Doesn't seem like you're from Compton. What are you talking about? Big Rod, what's up, Big Roddy Rod?
And you got another member of your crew hiding in the corner.
I know.
Let's try to pull him on out.
Yeah, what are you
Come and get on
doing?
this mic right here and say hello to us.
This is my guy DC,
All
the incomparable R&B artist DC.
Man, I'm just an artist, man. I wouldn't really put a label on it like that. Genre. You know what I'm saying? I do a little bit of everything. How you doing?
You're doing really good. Right about yeah.
Glad you're here.
Appreciate that. I'm grateful.
And you're from Compton too?
Yeah.
Oh my goodness.
Beautiful.
Did nobody even tell us, Lolo? See, that's a
And you
good
were
guy.
City 10. Yeah, I went to Compton High.
See,
I went to
this
a few
is the
different
thing
high
about
schools, though, but Compton High is where I started. Though.
That's where you
Yeah,
started?
That's
That's where I met Bones.
And how long have y'all all been together?
Together?
I think
Well,
since
Cause like Power Circle really
10
started
plus
what?
years, honestly.
Yeah, like
Really?
for sure.
Yeah,
I mean,
10
me and
plus for
DC,
sure.
we knew each other in middle school. We go way back. You know what I mean? Like seventh grade, maybe for me.
Yeah.
But yeah, then we end up, making music later on. But everybody that's been in the circle, as we say, like it's friends that we say is a part of the circle, but it's really like the musical group. But it's kind of like a family thing. But it's over 10 years for sure.
And so
Definitely
in
over
that
10.
10-year span,
Mhm.
when did you guys say, okay, you got to write music and sing it? I'm going to
That's crazy.
Yeah,
like I was
right?
going to start engineering it. Like when I grew up back, again, in 1920,
Mhm.
I was in a band. Jackie, you remember my band? And it started in middle school. We had a little band. And we're like, hey, okay, we gonna make records.
Yeah, I see what you're saying.
Records.
Yeah.
But I'm interested in your journey. Like, when did that all come together?
Honestly, the music started like while we were in high school. We all started off as rappers. Everybody wanted to be the next greatest rapper. We are listening to Kendrick Lamar.
Yes.
We was actually witnessing Kendrick Lamar's like rise to greatness. So everybody wanted to be rappers. So we all rapping and stuff at lunch breaks and stuff. And we used to always bring a crowd to us. And that's how we started a whole little group called Power Circle. There's actually two other members that aren't here, but we started a rap group. So after high school, everybody started getting a little deeper into the music. We started recording more. But honestly, the first one to break away was CA. He, wanted to be just more than the rapper. He wanted to be behind the music. He wanted to be the reason everything sounds good, and he started going, he went to school for it. He went and got his degree, and then he came back as like a master of mixing and mastering. Yeah, he was going crazy.
Not at that moment. I ain't saying
Right.
I'm a master now, but back then, nah.
Oh yeah, everything takes time, and it takes time. But
Yes, it does.
yeah, I was rapping, but my boy Rob, who's not here right now, he actually was the one to kind of get me to start singing, because everybody knew I knew how to sing, but I just didn't really feel comfortable with it. And it's easier to rap than it is to sing. So he got me into the singing, so I started writing my own music, and honestly, it took me to get my heart broke to really start really writing.
Oh,
Yeah, you have to really feel it in order for you to make heartfelt music. You can't like have empty words. You gotta get some emotion behind them. So it actually took me to really go through like a really sad time for me to really like get in my bag with this music stuff. So I'm actually very grateful for that.
Yeah.
And DC he was rapping. Now he's a jack of all trades. And Slayo, he started making beats, and everybody just branched off into their own category, but we all still come together to, as a collective.
Right.
Wow. That's so inspiring. You know what I mean?
That is a beautiful story.
I know. I know.
Absolutely, such positivity.
Oh, of
coming
course.
out of the city.
Of course.
That part right there.
Yeah, no, of
I'm
course.
calling you out, Mr. Rodney Lister. Call in, ladies and gentlemen. Area code 310-910-9676, extension 1. Calling out Mr. Rodney Lister. 310-910-9676. We got some Compton in the house, guys.
Come on, Rodney.
Let's do it.
Come on, Rodney.
Calling you out, Big Ron.
Blowing you up, Rodney. Come on, man.
It's all love, Rodney.
No.
I gotta get my hands on this music. So for our listeners, how do they get your music? Where do we find it?
You can find it on all streaming platforms: Apple Music, Spotify, Tidal, Amazon Music, YouTube. It's pretty much everywhere. You just type in Aaron Bones, you get my whole catalog.
For each specific artist in the circle, we all have specific names and whatnot. Well, the artist, I'm not an artist myself, so I don't have any music out. But every single artist has a specific, they have their music under a specific artist on Apple Music and everything. So we can provide you guys with the right, names and whatnot if you're looking for their music and whatnot. I know his, of course, is under Aaron Bones. His
Okay, put it in the notes.
And yours is
DC 360.
Oh, DC 360. We make a note.
Okay.
That's not zero. That's all.
Got it. It's great times.
And you rap.
I rap, I sing, I do a little bit of everything.
You want to rhyme that?
Yeah, man.
I ain't even noticed that.
It's just what you do. It's just the get down.
That's just who he is.
Yeah,
That's my dog.
I love it. I got some more notes. What you gonna say? I'm sorry, Sissy.
No, I'm just interested. We talked a little bit about. Well, right, this is an aside. My brain is everywhere. Have you guys? I just want to know, because we're talking about Compton before we leave there. This Amazon show called Them. Have you guys check that out?
I've heard of it. I
I've
haven't
never
checked it out
seen it
yet.
myself.
Yeah, it's about the first, and I think Slayo was here then when he said his grandmother bought a house in Compton in the 40s. And
Yeah.
that's what this
Yeah.
show is about. The first
Oh, wow.
black family that moves to East Compton.
Oh wow!
Wow, I didn't even. Wow.
I didn't know that.
Wow.
In
I promise I didn't know that.
1943.
Wow.
That's
so
crazy.
check it out. It's called them. I was drawn
Sorry.
to it because, you know, my mom bought our house in 1954
Mhm.
when they came, but we live in West Compton.
Oh, okay, got
Same,
it.
same.
Yeah,
So
we
it's
we
really-
all on the west side.
But I was like, wow, it's some horrible stuff though. I just want to prepare you for that.
Oh
It's
yeah,
like-
nah.
Yeah, it's got that, which is a new genre. Now, I hope this genre don't flow into music, where they
Right.
tell a historical story
Mhm.
with some horrible shit. They put that
Oh,
shit
okay.
together.
I know
That
what you
like,
mean.
All the
uh,
trauma shit.
Yeah.
Yes, it's such trauma. My
Yeah, I know what you
God.
mean.
It's
What?
just, yeah. It's so,
Oh,
so you know,
depressive.
I can't
it's
stand
not
the trauma stuff.
depressive.
Bring us
I
down.
still
to
gotta
the
check it out,
ground.
man. They got the city in it.
Yeah, it's
I gotta see
got,
what they
that's
got
what
going.
You gotta see what's going
I
on.
gotta see what they got going.
I'm a scary
Talking about
cat.
peace out there.
Yeah.
Hey, it's still the city, brother.
I know.
Peace out
Still gotta see what's going on, man.
We
It's
gotta
all
see.
supernatural stuff.
Oh, okay.
Really?
Yeah,
In the
Yeah.
city?
Yeah, it's in the
What?
city and it's supernatural stuff.
Oh,
that-
kind of sound nice.
It was off a green leaf where all those heads was being found.
Oh, my.
That was
a real deal.
Holy
Holyfield,
Spirit,
for real,
Yeah.
for real.
I just want to say, so check that out. Check out them.
Definitely, yeah,
And
no,
then,
that
and
sounds
then you
very
guys have to come back and we can all talk
Oh,
about
definitely.
them
Yeah,
and how they
yeah,
represent
sure,
the city.
yeah.
I'm already getting into that.
Right.
Yeah, no, I didn't know that was. Yeah, no,
Yeah,
that's
I'm on
actually
the
very
last
interesting.
one. It's 10 episodes. I'm on 10.
Oh, okay.
Now 7, 8, 9. Maybe a shot of Hennessy might make it feel better. But you gotta have something. It's just like, wow, my God.
Just like that.
Like that. So we talked about how it felt to be a black man in Compton, kind of generationally, right?
Yeah.
From my generation, and probably like along the line with your parents,
Mhm.
right? And how it feels now. I'm interested after George Floyd. We talked a little bit about that. How does it feel to be a black man in America right now?
Well, I know for a fact that I've always I've had very strong parents and you know, making me understand what, you know, what kind of world we live in and how our people are looked at, how we are looked at, you know, and honestly, I feel good. I feel like a king, you know, walking around, but I do understand there are dangers, you know, in our neighborhood, because even when we would go around from each other's house to drop each other off after a long studio session back when I lived in Compton, you know, the police would stop us 3-4 times. There was times that the police would stop us, the same officer, you know what I'm saying that we fit the description after you just stopped us and whatnot. So I understand it's a, you know, it's a racial bias towards us and whatnot. But as far as like, I understand that, you know, the power comes when we unite, you know what I mean? So doing things like this where, you know, we come together as a people to do positive things and whatnot, or even like, you know, we put money into a black business and all that type of stuff, it gives us more of a power to where we don't have to worry about, you know what I mean, these different systematics, because we got our own system, you know what I mean? We got our own system and whatnot. So me personally, instead of looking at it as a bad thing, even though I know for sure it's a bad thing, we're not gonna act like, you know, how we are treated is a good thing. I understand it's like, you know, we just got to work harder at it, you know what I mean? And we just got to, you know, really just, you know, as a people unite and really just, because when you have unity, you see that the Asian community after what happened, you know what I mean? They have laws that's passed already based off their unity. If we were unified, we would, you know, we would easily be able to squash a lot of things that's going on, but we just have a lot of distrust. We have a lot of, you know, disorganization and everything, just unorganization. Probably messed that word up 4 times, but that's what we have, you know what I mean? So if we were able to, you know what I'm saying, come together, and even the power circle is kind of a symbol of that, you know what I'm saying? We just coming together to really just, you know, push good music, peace, you know what I'm saying, have a good time, and you know what I mean? That's the best way I can kind of put it.
Now, have you noticed any changes in the dating arena since you all are now musicians and putting out music?
I mean,
Has it like?
Yeah, you know.
Screaming your name, that type of thing.
Nah, I mean, I wouldn't say anything like that. I mean, I know for a fact in the dating realm, you know what I mean, as a, you know, person in the art field, you have a lot of things to talk about. A lot of people think you're a lot more interested in whatnot. You know what I mean? It's like one of those things, but a lot of people get awed, you know what I'm saying? Like, like, oh, you worked on this, and it's we don't want to, we regular people, you know what I'm saying? It's not, you know, I'm not even at a level where people should be, you know what I'm saying? I'm just still working. I shouldn't be treated like I'm like a star. So I definitely don't want a regular person I'm trying to date.
I mean, it's a little different, but you know what I'm saying? I never really had a problem like with that. Anyway.
Well, I understand. Not there was.
Yeah, They like people who
First off, you already done told me what city you from, so I'm already knowing. Not that there was ever a problem, but just how has it amplified?
It's been.
You feel me?
I mean, you just honestly, you just get more attention than you was already getting because you have like something that people want. You know,
Well, it's
you
a
have,
different type of women. I feel like for me, that's exposed to.
Right.
That's real. Yeah. I understand what you're saying on that. Yeah, that's what it is right there. You know what I mean? Because if you find a good one, you know what I'm saying, one that's like, down your lane, you know what I'm saying, down, perfect for your program, then more than likely a lot of the things that you don't want to do, you're not going to have to do it. You know what I mean? Because it's just already lined up. You know what I mean? But it's sometimes that we deal with a lot of, and it's like, we got to keep going through them until you find the right one.
Yeah.
But,
I know. But I just know sometimes, there's a change in the atmosphere.
Sure.
And when you make that transition,
Yeah, not for sure. Honestly, at the end of the day, I'm working, so I ain't worried about that part right there. You know what I'm saying? I'm about this bag. You know what I'm saying?
Exactly.
I'll stay away from all of that.
money first.
But Quick told you first, right? First you get what you gonna get first?
The bag. Lock it up.
You guys are the best. I really appreciate it. What about hip hop? What does hip hop mean to you?
Oh man, that's a lifestyle. It's a culture.
Right?
Yeah, it's a culture.
Yeah,
It's a culture we created, and I feel like companies and all these big corporations trying to take hip hop away from us by doing all these industry plants and just marketing the wrong type of hip hop. Making the kids see this side of hip hop and think that it's like real hip hop, and hip hop is really culture, and there's not a lot of culture in the airwaves right now.
Yeah.
What I was wondering is I'm sorry, I'm gonna ask you gentlemen the same question, then I'm gonna circle back. Yes. Please, if you could go on ahead and let me know about hip hop. What does hip hop mean to you?
Hip hop, just like he said, hip hop is a culture. Hip hop is a lifestyle. You know what I mean? It's something that was created based off. We didn't have anything. You know what I mean? We usually come up with something and we turn it into something, and then it becomes big, and then from there other people take it. You know what I mean? That's just usually how our culture goes around. But hip hop is something that's, if you know anything about the charts, hip hop is the number one, genre right now. Rock and roll was for a long time, which we created as well. You know what I'm saying? A lot of people don't know. But, hip hop right now has turned into like the mainstream thing. So like, the rock stars of the world, everybody want to be us. And that comes from like, we learned hip hop from being through it. You know what I'm saying? Hip hop is a culture, and we lived in that culture. You know what I mean? I'm in the studio a lot, and then I'll make a decision that an artist, would think is real cool on a record. And they'd be like, how you know that? And I'm like, man, it's, this sounds right. This is what I've been listening to. You know what I'm saying? I've heard Kendrick do it. I've heard, you know what I'm saying? So it's just like being indwelled in our culture. And it's just something I feel like we bleed, really just. And when people say like hip hop versus real hip hop, I really don't like to say that because I feel like it all real. You know what I'm saying? It just depends on like, what type of style of music you're doing and whatnot. But, you know what I'm saying? It's really just culture and just,
perception.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is right there.
Yeah, but real quick, I mean, hip hop is everything, especially, us being Black, it's one of the few things that we actually still have,
right?
To ourselves that,
Right.
That they didn't take. And you know what I mean? Like, it's one of the few things that we have, at least from an artist standpoint, that's something that we still can control. Right. So I feel like it's literally everything, to me.
I know.
We control what's hot everywhere. We control what's popping in the streets, and that's hip hop for sure.
For sure. What do you remember when you fell in love with? I know I was going to say the first song I heard when I fell in love with hip hop. Lori, do you know the first song when you just knew who hip hop was for you?
Man, that's a hard one.
See, you can mull it over. I got mine.
What's yours?
Oh, I gotta go first.
Yeah, I think
okay. So we're gonna play mine. We're gonna play mine when we get down. I fell in love with hip hop when I heard Eric B. and Rakim. Eric B. for president. I never forget. We were. I don't know what you guys still do now, but back in the day when we doing track season, Lori? Like when the guys would go to the playoffs, instead of us having it at Compton High or Centennial, that was never gonna happen. Centennial. So at the end of the day, we would go to Vet Stadium. They would have us go. I don't know if they still do the back with us. Anyway, long story short, we go to Vet Stadium, and so it was like senior year, and the guys were out there. We out there with them and shit. Cheerleaders and everything. And then I just heard this song. And what is that? You just heard it was like a dude behind me with a boom box.
Yeah.
There you go. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Nah. It's bringing back vibes. Not gonna lie.
I mean, it's just Rashid, a little more volume on that one. Lori don't get mad at us. it was just like, just did something to me like, whoa. I was like, screw the boys up in the all they do, they keep a little track. I'm like,
It's on the record now.
you know, I was thinking about Barry Gordy. What are you gonna buy this sandwich? You gonna buy your lunch or you gonna buy this record? You know what I mean? So I went for the music.
Yeah,
What about you? What about you guys?
Man, that's a hard one because man, I would say I grew up on a lot of my mom was a big fan of like Sade, Erykah Badu, Jill Scott, you know what I mean? So I grew up in a real like, and I don't even like to use that, you know what I'm saying, the term, but neo soul, neo soul household. So I would honestly say probably the first like, and it's not even just one song, it's like a whole album, and it was actually a really good album. I think it won album of the year for the Grammys. Lauryn Hill's Miseducation. You know, that one right there all the way through. There's so many records, so many different vibes. Honestly, she's like the GOAT, you know what I mean? To me, and that's probably like the first record that I really understood like music is therapeutic.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
It is so powerful. It's beautiful. I love music. What was you gonna say, Lori G?
Oh no, I was just listening.
I just say like, I was like, I'm sorry, I don't want to cut you off. Inspirations for writing and creation. I know for me, I get inspired sometimes. Rashid, do you still have that email? You probably don't have it, huh? We should play the Archer, huh? You still got that one? I can send it to you. No. Oh, no. We're going to do transitions. Lord, you carry the guys for me for a moment. I'm going to send something to Rashid, if that's all right.
Oh, talking about transitions?
Yeah.
Scratch?
Yeah. We got it?
Yeah.
I think so. Let's try. Transitions. 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 Transitions, cognitions, intentions, renditions, competitions, expeditions. Just a few of these I mention. Deoxyribonucleus, alterations of the cannabis, images that are picturesque, seductive as the burlesque, dancer, prancer, donner, and vixen, scratching at the surface, awaiting the conviction. Deep in my spirit, deep in my soul, branded with fire, a smokescreen of desire. Passion erupts, erotic and abrupt. A change in energy, a change in my synergy. Remembering when it was me, but not quite as clever. You see, replacement could never be, simply because it's just not me. I need to be free, to look past the tree, into the forest, luxurious and glorious. The acacia in full bloom, like me. That is the key, waiting to see. A movement, development, doing the right thing, back and forth in the swing, more than just a fling. 'Cause
This is the real thing. It ain't nothing like it. So don't try to fight it. Get up off the rope. Cash in on the hope. Allow the emotions to elope while holding on to the slope. Never letting go. Never looking back. Because if you do, you just might get off track. Derailment, illusion, standing still in confusion. Interruption of the flow is pivotal to transitions. So come on, get up. Let's go. Transitions. You guys like that?
That was it. Nah, it actually reminds me of
that was hard.
You silly good.
when it first started, I didn't know what it was, and then I was
Like, what's going on? What's
when you
going
got to it, I
on?
was
What's
like,
going
okay,
on? Yeah.
It reminds me of a mantra. Like, I don't know if you guys like meditate, but like, you know, I like to listen to guided meditation and stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? It's in my ears while I'm, you know what I'm saying, meditating and, you know, visualizing and whatnot. But, you know, it definitely reminded me of that same year, and it was very good.
Good things come from Compton. Look at that.
Of course, man. I'm trying to tell you.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry. What was you gonna say, sir?
I said that was fine.
Okay, I'm sorry. Thank you so much. I don't know, because like you said, I kind of find, like you said, some of the writing and like the pain of life or just issues and just stuff. But I like writing sometimes, and then sometimes I don't know. Sometimes for me, you can go too deep.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Sometimes I don't like the times when you go too deep. You know what I mean, with your lyrics, and sometimes it can go. I don't know. Some days I'm in the mood to do it, and then sometimes you're like, no, this is too much. I don't want to go there. I don't want to touch that one. Like, no. I don't want to do that. Do you get like that sometimes when you're writing and stuff like that?
He gets like that.
You do.
I be trying to hold back, like
him. Yeah, he do it.
I can go there. I can definitely go there.
He got real good with it, but yeah, that's man right there, man.
Yeah, sometimes you be like, I don't even want to touch that. I don't know. But then there's parts of it sometimes that I think there's somebody out there that needs to hear it. You know what I mean? Sometimes but they're the therapeutic part of it all. So then sometimes I'll try to get the nerve and the courage to just go on in there and just touch it and deal with whatever that emotion is, whatever it is. But anyway, I just thought I was trying to share something with you guys.
That was good. That was good. Appreciate that. That was great.
That's how Mel started his music career. He was a poet.
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah, he wasn't even rapping. He was a poet, and then his poetry was just real. It sounded like rap lyrics. He just had to put it in. As soon as he did, he became phenomenal. You know what I'm saying? Man, it was crazy. Crazy lyrics for sure.
A lot of very talented people in our friend group for sure.
That is beautiful. You guys are all, I think, on the same cosmo. You know what I mean? The same vibration of the same wavelength. You know what I mean? Everything is in alignment.
Exactly. Yeah, that's why it's like family.
And even like with this situation, we had absolutely no idea. Lord Rock, I didn't really, it was like, oh, okay, it's Lord Rock. Sure, whatever, Lord Rock. Lord Rock. You know what I'm saying? And said, I didn't even know you guys is from our hometown. So that's really good.
No, for sure.
Because that show would have been so super extra with my ad today. It would have been, that's why they didn't let me know that ahead of time, apparently. This is gonna be so many follow-ups. This is gonna be follow-up. Come back, y'all coming back. We're gonna do a whole big deal.
Of course, definitely be back. Got you for sure.
Lori, you better go ahead and tell the gentleman. You have to tell them.
Yeah, we're having a poetry creative event on May 29th.
May 29th.
Oh,
yeah.
Where?
Here at the studio.
Oh, yeah, I'm in here. I got
you. I got you. Yeah.
And rap or sing or whatever you want to do that's creative.
Yeah.
No,
I would love to be there, but that's
Yep.
gonna be my birthday weekend.
It is.
I'll probably be like so drunk somewhere. I'm like, but thank you.
Rain
check.
Yeah, unfortunately, I will be right there with him being drunk, so I cannot make that one either. Yeah, I totally forgot about that. Yeah, that will be
his birthday.
We're gonna have a good time somewhere.
That does sound fire.
I know, right? Be all up in your Gemini spots, huh?
I forgot about that. That's good.
Right. I know, but we just wanted to let you guys know some of the cool stuff.
For sure. Maybe next time, for sure.
And you guys can tune in while you're drinking. See,
Oh
Oh yeah, nah, if I'm good enough to even hold my phone, you know.
Because I mean, really drunk.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, if I'm able to.
Really?
No.
No.
But, I mean, yeah, it is. I'm confident. Every year big on God.
Yeah, that's what
He
you're
said
saying.
every birthday is celebrated.
Yeah, nah, you gotta go big.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Got to. You just made
Yeah,
a
you
whole
gotta
another.
go.
Made it a whole another 365. A
Yeah,
lot of people
yeah.
can't say that.
Yeah, for
The
real.
shot.
That's true.
Exactly. You already know. It's just something about us, isn't it?
Yeah, we got a whole different vibe going. We trying to get passports and everything, man. We gotta go big.
For sure.
Absolutely.
Say go big or go home, right?
Nah, it's
Facts.
Right. I know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We can play Optimistic.
Optimistic. Oh, I can't wait to hear that one.
I know. Let me get my focus.
It's tough when the truth hurt more than the lies. But it's cool because we both emphasize, we both wear disguises these days. Thinking you along for the ride. I tried to go and make a bag and all you did was criticize. I bet you never thought that I would make it. I couldn't hold a note, you couldn't hold conversation. What happened to the love, girl? What happened to the patience? You used to be so optimistic back when we was kids, always had an ear to listen. Remember those nights in the Acura, getting high, rolling baggies up. We would talk about life and goals, we was kindred souls, didn't think life would pass us up. Talking all night long till 6 in the morning, you wanna go home, Netflix on the phone, or we climb in the back with the moon roof open, I would climb off the top while I hit from the back. I gotta count for something. I knew your secrets, you knew my set. We keep them to the end of time. I gotta count for something. You used to ask what I'm afraid of. How come we just can't take a chance and just see where it take us? I mean, I know we're young and it won't make or break us. Sometimes the things we running from are the things that can save us. Love. How'd you get so optimistic? I mean, you used to be so optimistic. Girl, you used to be so optimistic. You're the reason for this life I'm living. I had to go, I had to get it on the road. Ain't nothing changed with my location, same number on my phone. I did you wrong, I disappeared and left you out here all alone. I had my reasons, I had demons, had to heal them on my own. To talk about going half on me, baby. You in love with some nigga that ain't me, not even half. Girl, that's crazy that you would settle for that. Why you settle for that, baby? When I was coming back for you, hey, I was coming back for you. When you lose faith in me, lose faith. Yeah. You used to be so optimistic. Girl, you used to be so optimistic. Sending love letters to the radio. It's the last time I let you play me. No, 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 no. Love letters on the radio. Last time I let you play me.
I love that. That's beautiful.
That sounds amazing.
Right? That
Thank
is
you.
beautiful, boy. Absolutely.
Shout out to my engineer.
I love that, right?
What's the story?
I know.
That one,
Detail.
honestly, I just wanted to write like a story of like in chronological order. It's basically how me and someone was so close, and they gave me all the inspiration I needed to go forward. And then once I started being distant, they lost faith, and they felt away chasing my goals, chasing my dreams, so they wanted to move on with their life. I figured, that this is what you wanted from me, so I want it for myself now. So it kind of changed their mind, like you lost faith. You used to be so optimistic. You're not as optimistic as you was anymore when you see me moving forward.
Relationships, I know, right? That's some real shit.
I didn't even know that.
I used to say.
Wow. But now that, like,
Right.
sit
Listen
on
to that.
right? That can be a part of the struggle of the Black community, isn't it?
Exactly.
Sure.
Yeah.
Right?
Of course.
Because when things start taking off,
Mm-hmm.
sometimes people aren't as optimistic.
Of course, yeah, nah, of
They
course.
don't want to lift you up.
Yeah, nah.
We were talking about that in the car too, wasn't we?
Yes, we were. Yes, yes.
Wow.
Almost
That's
like dinner.
profound.
Right? I don't know. I don't know why people do that. Yeah, let's talk
As a
about
new
that.
generation, why do you think that is?
People don't want to see you doing better than them. It's like that.
Even still in
Yeah.
the 21st century?
It's even worse now. It's the
worse.
it's the crip in the barrel mentality
Yeah.
where basically, you know, you seeing this big lavish lifestyle all on Instagram and you low key hating on them and stuff. Everything is in front of you now. Like it's somebody, your next door neighbor, they can be posting all types of crazy vacations and stuff they doing on their Instagram. You see it. You feeling some type of way about it, you know? You got some smarts up state. Like,
I think it's the internet culture too, because like a lot of the times people don't even necessarily hate on the next person. It's just the fact that you're mad you ain't got it. You know what I mean? It's like, you know what I mean?
yeah, for real, yeah.
I don't
That ass,
even
just
think-
like that.
You know, you know what I'm saying? You just, you know, I mean, it's a certain like type of image that they give off this world. It's like this false image that, you know what I mean? These people is doing all this lavish stuff. Man, a lot of these people is struggling. A lot of people is not doing that good. You know what I'm saying?
They just make it look good.
I have got to interject.
Yeah.
Because that is so true.
Mhm.
Okay,
For sure.
like our brother, he's really our cousin, but we grew up like our brother. He and I are a year apart, right? He passed away. I miss him so much. But he would use the internet, the social media, Facebook, all this stuff at my house, at his sister's house in Atlanta, at Jackie's house. And these women think he's got like 3
different cribs, you know.
That's what we call it, catfish.
But do you know what I'm saying? They believe, so you cannot believe everything that people put up on social media.
No, but then the crazy part about it is when the ladies be like coming at him, like expecting him to take
Like,
them
well,
to like
fly me to
crustaceans.
Atlanta. Right.
Let's go to Laurie's for dinner. And he like, I ain't got no money for all that shit. Why she think I got? Nick, look what you posting on the internet. Playing
Because
oh my
on the
God.
internet, you got 3 different houses. So you can't buy her something bigger than a Happy Meal. My goodness. God
That's
bless
how you fish out the gold diggers and stuff, man. You know, just because I got it don't mean I got it for us.
Get right.
Nah.
That mean it's for your ass. Exactly.
You're not supposed to be
It's
giving off
mine.
that image like
Wow.
Money is mine, it belongs to me. I have my money.
That's for real
But
though.
why are we optimistic when we all poor? And then I start hating on you when you.
And you get like 2 more likes than me, and now you ain't my motherfucking friend no more.
It's, you know, we
What,
got
what the hell?
always got to be optimistic. You always got to hope for something better. You always got to have a plan for something better. And the people that are like, you know, not as optimistic as you, they're stagnant. You know, they're comfortable where they are, but they don't want to see you rising above them. You know, they want everybody around them to be on the same level.
I think it's also say when you got a group of people and they all in the same condition, right? And then they all talking the same thing. We gonna get out of this condition. We gonna we gonna just move to the next thing. Then one person go out and he actually do it. If the person that was with him was supposed to be doing it, you're gonna feel some type of way. It's gonna be like you're gonna be disappointed in yourself, and that's gonna create like a, you know, like an envious type of thing if you're that type of person. If you're a strong person, maybe not. But you know, I feel like that's what happens. It's like, you know, we talk that talk, but when that person actually go and do it, it's like people start, you know, you hear a lot of stories about a star, you know, somebody, one of his close friends, he talk about, man, you should do something crazy, you know what I'm saying? Try to badmouth his name, you know what I mean? It's like, it's just that, it's like a disappointment in itself, you know what I'm saying? And he want to tear down the person that made it further, no matter what he did in high school, that don't matter. He got millions now. Be proud, you know what I mean?
Well, I have a question, because you talked about the power circle, right? That's your group.
OTC.
How have you kept that type of spirit out of the power circle? And are you cognitively aware of it, or is it just how each of you exist in the world?
I think because it's never been about that. It's never been about that for us. I mean, we always wanted to see each other win. You know what I'm saying? Like we help each other out. You know, we write songs for each other. You know what I'm saying? We put each other music. You know, we really help each other out as much as we possibly can. So we want to see each other win. So, I mean, we never had that mindset to try to hold each other down because we know if one of us make it, that obviously puts us opportunity to make it as well.
Sure, 100%.
That's what it's always been about for us.
Yeah. Then we operate like a real family. Like I said, it's times that we'll go to each other's house at Thanksgiving. You know what I mean? Like it's really like that.
Down
you know
bad.
I mean? Like like
we've been down bad together.
We shared homes together. Like it's really a family. So like at that moment, it's like, we choose, when you get to a certain age, you choose your friends. You know what I'm saying? You don't have to hang out with your childhood friends just because you did. You know what I mean? We're older now. You know what I mean? You kind of get to choose your life. You know what I mean? We choose to hang around each other. You know what I mean? So it's like at this point, if we don't want to see each other win, what you doing this for? You know what I'm saying? It's like we around, we push each other, we invest in each other. You know what I'm saying? It's like that. You know what I mean? It's just something that's just like kind of like bred in. It's just like we just
way deeper than music.
Yeah, that loyalty is already there. You know what I mean?
And I go back to Davis too. Did you go to Davis?
Well, I went to Enterprise, Eagles.
Yeah, it's a couple that went to Davis, but for the majority, I think. Then I think a couple went to Walton. You know what I mean?
Walton,
so it's like we really kind of met in high school. That's when we all kind of like linked up. But some of us knew each other before. You know what I mean? But it was definitely in high school. That's when me and Bones met.
Yeah,
and that's when
Miss Christie class.
Yeah, don't tell them.
The good old days. Huh?
Sure. Oh, these the good old days, but yeah, it only gets better.
Exactly. Period.
I ain't going back there. I'm right around the corner from this.
That is so much fun.
We talked a little bit about social media, right? And I know that at least from your family's perspective, you had that era of Marvin Gaye.
Of course, yeah.
You know, the greats. How do you think the greats have impacted the ability, or how has social media maybe impacted the ability to play, create, and make music? I mean, Marvin Gaye was making stuff in Motown's basement.
No,
and
of course.
having to get it distributed. So what impact has social media had on that?
You go.
Yeah, it made everything more accessible. Everything is so easier to attain. Studios are everywhere. You want to be a musician, you pay for that studio time, you go and make that record. You want to, get attention from a big name person, you keep blowing up their direct messages. You can, you never know what can happen on the internet, which is actually it's a blessing. It's everything is so like close, you can almost touch it now.
Right. That's so true.
I would say the internet, not only the internet, but technology alone. You know what I mean? Technology, is a big part of like, how easy it is to make music, even from like the special plugin that is auto-tune, where auto-tune is something that literally corrects your pitch. Back in the day, your James Browns and you know what I mean,
all with it.
They did not have that, so it was no messing up a note. And if it was, you had to make it, not even run it back. If you mess up a note, it has to be like, like something that like was off a feeling. You know what I mean? If you miss a note, it was like because it was like he was showing too much emotion on that note. You know what I'm saying? In that part of the song, you know what I'm saying? It had to be a reason for everything. But technology and the internet make music way easier to be made. You know what I mean? Sure. It's way easier to learn information. So, of course, it's like, you know what I mean? You have to go back and look at those greats like, Mike and James Brown, Prince, and, you know what I'm saying, Stevie Wonder. They didn't have these things and they were able to do the things that they did. Goats. Instantly. You know what I'm saying? It shouldn't even be a discussion. You know what I mean? And you have to really pay homage to that. But not to look at the next generation, the ones that's making it down, because a lot of people are like, oh, y'all not making music the same way. No, it's not that. It's that it's easier. You know what I mean? And it's like it's a different vibe and whatnot, but we still, the music that's being made is still making the world go round. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's one thing I definitely don't like when it comes to like the generational thing where they make it seem like new music isn't real. No, that's real. I hear it. I feel it.
I was just going to ask you about that. Like in terms of like the genre of music, do you think that like R&B music still holds the same power that it did like 10, 15 years ago, would you say? Or do you think, you know what I mean? Go ahead. I'm sorry.
Personally, I feel like it's different now. It's different now because everybody has like a macho man syndrome and stuff, and nobody really wants to talk about their feelings. R&B music is not, you can't play these half these songs. You can't play it outside your girl window if she's mad at you. You can't. You'll be out there with a boombox.
Right, like I was. Remember that?
Nah, but it's a lot of good ones out here. You just gotta weed through all of the stuff that's not as good.
But do you think the industry is becoming watered down now that it's so easily inaccessible? We had a guy over there. What about that? What do you guys think?
Yeah, it's a lot of people out here doing it. It's a lot of musicians, a lot of artists that's just popping up like weeds, It's a lot of people, so it's definitely getting watered down. But if you're a real music lover, you'll you'll do that search. You'll expand your thinking. You know, it's a lot because it's a lot of people out here that's just overlooked. A lot of good people that's not getting as much as the attention as the babies and all those people. It's some real artists out here.
Right.
And music
also,
ain't died yet.
I know you're good. Also, I was gonna say, like, when it comes to, like, you know, the industry being watered down, you got to remember the industry not ran by us. You know what I mean? So, you know what I mean? In these front offices, and you know what I'm saying, the people that's putting these records out, they don't look like us. You know what I mean? They just going off the fact that, like, oh, TikTok is booming. We're gonna put this on TikTok. We're gonna have a couple people dance on TikTok, and it's gonna make some money. It's like they don't really care about the culture, like where we go back to, where we talk about the culture. You know what I mean? And it's me. I get happy when I see like a black A&R get promoted in a big label, because I know, like, now that I'm like, you know what I'm saying, like, I don't know for a fact if they care about the culture, but it's probably a bigger chance they give, they give a care about the culture. You know what I'm saying? But a lot of the things that's being played and is being watered down is because, you know what I mean, it's a certain type of system that's not even us. You know what I mean? Whatever's hot, you know what I'm saying? They just gonna play it, and they gonna outplay that artist until they can't outplay them no more. They gonna drop it from the label. Boom, next one. Next one. You know what I'm saying? Keep going.
Really?
But it's not really, I wouldn't even say, like, because hip hop is like, it wouldn't even be a watered down of hip hop or R&B. You know what I'm saying? That's a culture. That's a thing that will never die. It's just the mainstreamness of it. Right. That's not us at all.
Yeah, what they're pushing is just
it's not us.
Making it look bad.
Yeah, for sure. Because there's good stuff out there. Like you said, you're going to find it if you look.
I just feel like it's like the underground concept. You know what I'm saying? Is that like where the mainstream get downs are?
I think the underground don't even exist no more with the internet. The way that the internet is, underground is the mainstream now. Like, you will see a lot of like independent artists and a lot of people that would be necessarily on the underground. They making big money because, you know, they can do the same thing that other people can do with the label without one. You know what I mean? So it's like, I wouldn't even say it's underground. If you got some underground music nowadays, you are good. You know what I'm saying? Everything is being able to be found easily. You know what I'm saying?
That's why a lot of people are independent now, because you don't need a label.
You don't need a label.
They
need you.
Yeah. As long as you can generate your own buzz, you make that you put out the product that everybody wants. You don't need the white man telling you how to push your product.
Build your own team. You know what I'm saying? Get everybody paid. You know.
What were you thinking, Rashid?
I'm telling her to actually grab her mic now.
Oh yeah, go ahead, get your mic, Larry. If you need something to the side. Yeah. I don't know, but so it's just a whole new world. It's a whole new world. Lord Rocker, I have a question for you, sir. How have you? I know. I just want to ask you about the revolution of music in your world. Here you go, Rocker, right here, if you want to, and everything that you've done, and all of your hard work, and right. I just want to ask.
What's the question again, Miss Jackie?
Yeah, I'm sorry, King. I just wanted to ask you. Should I start with the hip hop question? But what about right now when people said that the industry is watered down with regard to music? Have you found that in your artwork, sir?
Watered down. No, it is a little oversaturated, like the guy said, only because there's so many people doing it. So like Aaron mentioned, is if you really love the music, then you'll seek it out and you'll do your homework on it. And it's not hard to find. It's not hard to find good music because people are really coming with it. I've been listening to certain playlists and I just go through it and everybody's coming with it just because the access to great engineers, great producers is there. You have this app called Fiverr. I suggest that every independent artist get it, because on this app you can find everyone who does everything on that site. People who do websites, producers, create logos, everything, and they charge anywhere from $5 to $100. And just the accessibility is insane now. So everything's moving at fast pace, and everyone pretty much has an equal playing field. You know what I'm saying? So yeah. But like Chris mentioned, like we're not the ones pushing the music, so they're the ones picking and choosing who they want to push. But until we say no, this is what we want and we demand, well, better we gonna get better.
That's it.
Yeah.
I love that. Thank you so much,
You're
Lord Rock.
welcome.
I know you wanted to stay behind the scenes, but I just had to get your input. I appreciate that. Here, guys, on the Poetry Adjusting Show. You guys having a good time tonight?
Oh yeah. Sure.
Well, I had a question. What for each of you gentlemen? What is? I know because we have handles we're going to put out and all of that. We want to make sure everybody knows. But what is one or two things that you want everybody to know about you tonight? That our listeners know, your fans, your listeners, something that means very important and dear to you.
Something about Aaron Bones. I just want everybody to know that I'm 100% authentic. Everything that I write is me. Everything that I put out is real. I try to make everything as real and relatable as possible. I tell my story, and if you can relate to it, then that means you vibe with me. And that's 100% appreciated. And also, I want everybody to know that my music is everywhere on Apple Music, Spotify.
That part, right?
Hey, go run up those plays, man. Type in Aaron Bones anywhere. You gonna get some hits, man.
For me, I can say, I want everybody to know that, you know what I'm saying? Honestly, I do make, music for my fans, but I really make music for me. Like, I'm gonna do whatever I want to do. Like, so if I want to rap, if I want to sing, if I want to make a song about this, want to make a song about that, that's what I want to do. That's what I feel. And I mean, that's just what it is. And another thing, my music is also
that's right,
everywhere. DC
everywhere.
So tap in.
You look. That's it. Every other city you go, basically, it's already there. I just was wondering.
The only thing that I'm gonna just go off with it and just say a quote that I live by. You know what I'm saying? I want everybody to hear this one. Whether you believe it or you don't, you're correct. So, with that being said, whether you believe that you're gonna do it or whether you don't, you correct in your head. It just depends on where your head is at. So that can go a long way. I'll let you, handle that.
Let that marinate for a little bit.
That's a very, really think on that. That really changed. That quote changed my life. And then I don't have really any music out there. I'm an engineer myself. You know what I mean?
Everything I do, CA touched it. CA mixed it. So if you want to hear some CA mixes, check my music out.
Sure.
And DC's music.
DC.
If you want to tap in for a mix or whatever, you can hit me at my you can hit me on my website, mixedbyca.com. It's exactly how my Instagram is and how my Twitter is and how you probably have me in your phone. So so go ahead and go to my website if you want to tap it for a mix and whatnot.
Big facts.
Which is big facts.
Oh yeah, big facts.
Yeah,
Okay.
big facts, exactly.
We had a gentleman on my show, Big Facts. So I was you know.
Yeah.
He's Do you guys know Jay Familiar?
Huh?
You know JackieRay?
JackieRay?
Goes by Jay Familiar, a rapper from Compton.
I'm not familiar.
Okay, I
And
was
that
just
was
wondering.
I was not trying to be ironic right there. I said familiar. His name Jay Familiar. You said right?
Yeah.
I just wanted to point that out.
Comedian is
No, what I'm trying to say is
Shout out Jay Familiar. Shout out Jay Familiar.
That's what I was not trying to do.
But ladies and gentlemen, I'm going to give a big quick shout out to my homeboy BI all the way from he's gonna kill me, Yonkers, New York. He sent me my new shirt, ladies and gentlemen. Keep watching me, bitch. Anyway, but this is his brand, ladies and gentlemen. You can find him on Instagram. Again, that is BI all the way from Yonkers, New York, and he is Keep Watching Me brand and 0 likes. Keep watching because when people get tripping, they don't want to like you. Just like what we just talked about. Now you're getting 0 likes, so it's good. So anyway, isn't it? But that's real. It's real, and it's really real. Ain't that shit real?
Instagram is it's a blood sport.
It is low key. Go ahead, Lori.
It sparks for me. We talk a lot about community here at the Poetry and Justice Show. How we can make an impact on our community, how we can make change, right? So how can we work toward changing that culture of people who are doing well and you get 0 likes?
Man, honestly, that's a hard question, man. I ain't even gonna lie, because I was gonna go somewhere else until we heard the 0 likes. Because I don't know how to stop anybody who gets 0 likes. And I get a lot. So,
Man, stay on social media.
I mean, damn, like.
Well, no, I'm gonna go ahead and let you.
You said doing really well and getting 0 likes.
No, not literally 0, but
I mean, like,
yeah, because that's what I'm saying. Like, I can't.
Not as many likes.
Yeah, you know you put some shit up, you like this shit is hot.
Yeah,
your shit be hot, and then you get 22 likes. You feel me?
I feel exactly what you're saying. Okay,
right.
So a good way to deal with that is that's the question you mean. Like when it comes to when you put out a song, just like what DC said, he said at the end of the day he make music for himself. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that's
so
true.
one thing that's hard for artists is like when you able to create, when you got the God-given gift to create, you want to show that. It's a certain type of I wouldn't say arrogance, but you just kind of want to be prideful. You want people to take bask in your art and whatnot. So us, when we put out a song, you know, we gonna think that the whole world gonna love it, and they may not love it as much, but you just gotta understand that it's like maybe you didn't reach the right way. A lot of people think that people don't like the song. A lot of people, I'm not gonna click on the song to listen to it if I don't like the cover art, or you know what I'm saying. It's a lot of different things that you have to do correctly for even people to listen to you. And we skip that, and we think that people not listening to our music, but it's like, nah, you didn't come about it the right way. This is really got a science behind it. You know what I'm saying? As far as marketing,
package deal.
Really, you have to do it right. You have to present it the right way. You have to, you know what I'm saying? And then people gonna listen to it from there. You got a fan, you know what I mean? But it's like, you have to understand that it may not be your music that people not liking. It may not be, you know what I'm saying? It may be the fact that the route that you took, you just didn't do that much thought, and you didn't really do the right way. Or maybe you just posted on a day that nobody was paying attention.
Or the algorithms was like,
that's a real thing.
That's the algorithm.
Most music come out on Friday. People be randomly releasing music on Saturdays and Sundays, and it's like people don't be listening. People used to listening to music Thursday night at 9 p.m. or 12 Eastern. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, you know, that's usually what it is. We, you know, you just gotta follow these things and just really try to, you know, really stick to your plan, and you'll see that your likes and your, you know what I'm saying, to go up, and you'll be lit. You'll be lit like Bones be lit, like DC be lit.
Mr. Lord Rockable, I tell you, he shuts it down every time I can't get through the feed. I'm like, Lord Rock, rocking the house. That's what we do.
There's so much talent here.
Oh my God.
And I'm so inspired and so proud. What advice would you have for other young people, maybe specifically men of color from the inner city, to follow their dream or to stay in the game or to even believe in themselves that they can get into the game? What advice would you have?
One thing I would say is, again, like kind of going back to how I look at things, is just do what you feel, you know. Don't let anybody get in your head, you know what I mean, and tell you, hey, maybe you should be making this type of music, or you should be making this, you know what I'm saying. Do what you feel, you know what I'm saying. And if it feels right to you, if it feels right, then you're doing something good. And just keep that in mind. I think you'll be all right.
Sure, follow you.
I would definitely say, like DC said, I mean, you got to be yourself. You gotta sell yourself. You know, you can't try to live somebody else's life and expect to flourish off of it. And then also, you have to always be kind to yourself, you know, because a lot of times it's like an up and down. It's like a roller coaster thing with this music stuff, or, you know, any dream you're chasing, it's a roller coaster. And when you hit those downward, you know, declines, you know, it can get depressing. It can get, you know, harsh, but, you know, you don't focus on the bad. You focus on the positivity, the lessons that come from the bad, and then you use that to fuel the positive. You know, just always be kind to yourself. Don't beat yourself up over small failures, because literally it can flip back into a big win.
That's so true. I like that.
Something I'd say as far as like advice for, you know, young black men in the inner city that's trying to, you know, come out and do whatever they're doing, I would say 100% stay true to yourself, just like kind of what they both said. We have the stigma, you know, coming out of cities like Compton, where it's like you got to be the roughest, the toughest, you know what I'm saying? You got to for sure. You know, you just gotta be the most notorious. You know what I'm saying? For sure. You gotta be the most notorious, and that's respect. That's usually the people in our neighborhoods that get the most respect. So I see where it comes from and whatnot. But at the end of the day, when you stepping out and you making the lane for yourself, you gotta be 100% who you are. If you was a nerd, be a nerd, because you could be the coolest nerd ever. You know what I'm saying? If you was a hooper, hoop. You know what I'm saying? If you was the most notorious dude in the street, I ain't gonna say do that, but if that's you, you know what I'm saying? Do you?
Do you?
Feel me? But that's, you know what I'm saying? But at the end of the day, it's like, be true to who you are, because Compton, even what Rodney said, and it was, you know, it's all fun and games. We love you, Rodney. But, you know what I'm saying? When you said, you know what I mean? I wouldn't have thought you was from Compton. You would have never knew, bro. It's so many famous people that you probably didn't even know was from Compton. From Compton. It's like Compton doesn't have like some you know what I'm saying? It's not that at all. You know what I'm saying? We have all types of people. We have judges, we have athletes, we have billionaires, we have, you know what I'm saying? It runs deep, you know what I mean? So just stay true to who you are, because man, when I left school and I decided, and I was like, okay, I'm a nerd. I'm probably the coolest they'll tell you. I'm probably the coolest nerd you'll ever meet. But when I realized I was a nerd, I went and did audio engineering, and it was like the best thing I ever did ever. You know what I'm saying? 100%. Yeah, but y'all gotta let them know I'm the coolest, because I just put myself.
he cool or whatever.
I believe you. Totally believe
they left me hanging.
He cool.
Never. I was just checking my life, just running this machine over here.
Sound like y'all lying. He cool.
Let him tell it.
Yeah, not just be yourself though. That's me.
I know that was one of the things for me and Lori. I know for me with the show,
Mhm.
and one of the things like just one of the passions for it and why we drive it so hard, you know what I mean, is because it's just I wanted to make sure that we had something out of Compton, right? That we came from Compton. We've got a top radio podcast show. And where are we from? The CPT. You know what I mean? So I'm always telling this, I'm striving for, I'm always got like a Dr. Dre, DJ Quick. You know, those are my two go-tos when I think of home and when I need to get my mind right. You know, you'd be like, okay, anything quick, I'm gonna get it together. Need some Dre, I'm gonna get it together. We're gonna make it happen. And you just we know it's so much goodness from there. I just think about like Lori and I was saying, being, you know, cheerleading and just going for it. You know what I'm saying? And being in front of that crowd. And you know, every Friday night is like, So I don't know if that's all still part of the allure and what that meant to the community when we went to school there. I know for years, and Lori's name, they graduated 82, was always big time fun there too. But even my years, summertime and football practice and cheer practice, and Lord, you remember the whole community would come out on those Friday nights because we would have Hell Week, and on Hell Week the community would come out and fill the stadiums. It's not even game time yet. You know what I'm saying? And they fill the stands and watch us practice and go around the field, and the attached units and the cheerleaders, and it just makes me feel some kind of way because, like you said, growing up and people thinking that, oh no, you couldn't come from that city, and I don't even know what that even means sometimes. We don't even take the time to even ask those questions. That's just stupid in my regard. But because you tend to think it's a prototype, I'm gonna show you something different.
It's the media and the stereotypes that come with being from Compton because they usually see Compton as, Crips and Bloods, gang banging, and just, all this, ghetto-ness, hood rats, and, all that. But they don't.
All that? Roll it. Yeah, we know.
The list goes on and on and on and on and on. Because I'm from Paramount. So.
Yeah, you're right there. Yeah, you get the same thing.
Yeah. So it's like, and I graduated from Dominguez. So.
You did?
Yes,
Hi, Rashid.
Yep.
Hey, go ahead. Sorry.
Yep. And so it's like, they'll ask where you're from. It's like, where?
Yeah.
But it's like, but wait a minute.
Yeah.
You act a whole different way. It's like, I never knew.
Yeah. It's like, how many people do you really know from Compton then? You know what I mean?
Exactly. Right.
Because they're so, I don't know. It just infuriates me.
It's stereotypes.
Because I went to a predominantly white university.
Yeah, so I know you dealt with
and so it was always like, well, you're not really black, right? You're mixed with something. I know you are. Tell me. And so that's
so disrespectful.
That isn't. I mean, that is the ultimate.
I mean, I was called a Oreo, where I'm like, I'm black on the outside, but I'm white on the inside.
Just because you can articulate.
Yeah.
But I'd rather be an Oreo because at least you're recognizing
as a black person
that I'm a black person. But to force some other nationality on me so that you can feel better about yourself, right? Because you're not understanding why you like a black person.
But it was from my own people.
Oh yeah,
it was from my own people.
Shut up, right?
When I went to Transfiguration on Martin Luther King Boulevard.
Oh yeah, that's not like us. That's us right there.
Easy all day.
Most of these people nowadays, I mean, if they don't believe from Compton, they probably seen NWA one time and just made their whole spectrum off of that. Like, oh my God, yeah, you can't be from Compton. You don't have a Jerry curl.
But have you ever left the country and watched TV? Watched the images that are fed to
I never seen
other countries
but I've heard
about America.
I heard it's
about
crazy.
It's crazy.
Yeah, I heard it's
and they
crazy.
paint people of color
like buffoons.
Yeah, and terrorists.
Yeah, for sure.
And something to be completely afraid of.
Yeah, much I've been to Mexico, they usually treat me with like kindness and respect when I was over there, and it was kind of just it was a little stark difference because I didn't see any TVs, over there.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Where they were picked up at the same time. I haven't traveled to to Europe.
Yeah, Europe is a whole different beast.
Yeah, because Europe,
Racism out there is crazy.
They literally see us as idiots.
Yeah, for real. They don't.
In general, not just black, just Americans.
Nah,
yeah,
yeah,
for
for
real.
sure.
Then you a black American. Oh, you.
And then the Japanese, it's a mixed bag because there will be many that love us, but then some they're just unequivocally racist.
Yeah, nah, for sure. I feel like because even me getting out and like going to college and experience different cultures, it's certain like, and I wouldn't even say it's just like a racist. It's more of a prejudice. I'll say like in other cultures, they are taught to it's them first. You know what I'm saying? So every other culture, they're gonna be like, man, if you gonna bring somebody home, bring home. You know what I'm saying? What you look like. If you're a Mexican woman, bring back a Mexican man. You know what I'm saying? So us not having like a big, strong, grip on our culture, you know what I'm saying? We don't abide by these laws and whatnot. So we like more, hey man, we, most people, I don't have a preference, man. Anybody, you know what I'm saying? That's what it is. But over time, an Asian person, they would look at us like you're not gonna get an Asian person, or like, you know what I'm saying? It's just a certain like prejudice that they, that they literally, bring up their kids on and whatnot. And when they see us, like you said, how they paint us overseas and whatnot, we look like, man, domestic terrorists, you know what I mean? So they don't want no smoke with us, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Now, do you think that has changed since the whole insurgent, the whole Trumper thingy? Because America's changed a little bit. What do you think, Lo? You think it's in terms of the perception on blacks? Now we see
it's worse.
It's worse on us.
I feel like
it gave them a voice, like all of the racists, like radicals, like it gave them a voice because the person in the office was talking mad spicy like that, and let them walk the streets, and
they gonna do it. They gonna go even crazier.
I mean, some people that are outside, and they look at how black people have been treated. Some actually feel sympathy. Some do, some don't.
Yeah, for sure.
But it's like they at least now know that basically what we've been talking about all these 50, 120 years,
we ain't capping.
Ain't been bullshit.
Yeah,
right.
Like we really like.
They literally seeing at the age of video cameras.
Yeah,
everything's on the internet. You see
if you act like you don't see it at this point, you a blatant racist.
Blatant racist,
right? Blatant racist.
Yeah, for sure.
I have a question for you. Just in our last, time has gone so quickly.
Oh man,
Kelly.
I didn't even expect
so quickly.
I was here to support this. And somehow
that happens on the POJ.
I'm always bring my dog.
It's contagious.
I know he brought me up here for a reason because he know how to talk.
I'm always bring my dog.
That's good.
I've been watching that show. I don't know if you tuned in. Soul of a Nation.
I haven't seen that one either. I don't watch a lot of TV. So.
I don't watch a lot of TV, but I watch the tapes.
Gotcha,
I have a thing, an account with Hulu, so it's streaming on Hulu, and it's actually really worth watching. I think it's tastefully done. But they did a segment at the very start on reparations.
Okay, got you.
And I'm really interested. I know what my generation and what my parents' generation felt about reparations and what was due for the black community. I'm interested in your generational view of reparations.
Run me my money.
Let me tell you something. We are owed the reparations. Definitely.
Pay me, bitches.
You can't deny it. They gave it to the Jews. They gave it to the Indians. We the only people that ain't got our money.
We ain't got nothing.
We ain't got shit. They ain't give us no land.
We ain't got nothing.
They ain't give us nothing. And they complain how we don't got nothing. Y'all niggas took everything. Snatched everything away from me, young
niggas. We take the same steps that our other generations take. We want that bread.
Run it.
Now,
all 20s.
Now, now, all these little
Tell me how you really feel, Aaron.
Now, all these stimulus checks from all these from California, make sure you give me my stimulus check. Government,
y'all need a couple of those. Y'all need to run those frequently.
Right.
Y'all can run me my check
frequently,
but my reparations check.
Yeah. I need it in whole.
I'm gonna need that
immediately, expeditiously.
In Benjamins. I'm gonna need that in Benjamins, and I'm gonna need that counted for the next 3 years.
Man, I'll tell you
but
what.
Okay.
Oh, go ahead. My bad. I was gonna keep joking. I'm sorry.
You watch the show because I think it's a city in North Carolina. That part I'm not quite sure about. I don't remember. But they have a black female mayor, and they have instituted reparations in that city.
Oh, I saw that.
And so,
what they giving people?
$25,000.
What are they getting it
to
from?
use toward home buying.
They get it from the city budget?
They're getting it from their city budget and their tax increases.
Oh, they increased the tax.
Run that.
Out here, they got to give us $1 each because the house is so expensive.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
They got to run it up over here.
Well, that's very true. That probably would be true. But I mean, you know.
No, that's
I mean, something. It's a down payment.
It's a start.
Yeah,
It's like the
it's a start.
verdict. It's a start.
It's a start. It's a start.
I don't know, guys. I don't
And
know.
then, as a start, again, Sullivan Nation. Check it out if you have not looked
I'm
at
gonna
it.
check it out.
There's
Sure.
this whole thing on Black Wall Street. So the massacre in Tulsa, right? Which is really crazy because I didn't know about the massacre in Tulsa, and our father's from Tulsa.
Oh wow.
I'm sure a Ray was massacred.
Right?
I'm pretty
sure
sure.
several
I
Rays
don't
were
know.
massacred.
I don't know.
But what they're doing, their little mayor is trying to give generational wealth back to the families who lost their businesses
Yeah.
on
sure
Black
someone
Wall
has that.
Street.
They need to do that. Just like they
Should
giving
we
out
go
the-
down and do some investigating
Hey, you might want
on Daddy's behalf?
You might be
Y'all probably got to check with
I
them.
I mean, I thought that to me in America is really
Yeah, no, for sure. I don't know if
is
you guys.
unimaginable, isn't it?
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys heard about how it was a beach in Manhattan. Well, it was like
Yes.
a specific Bruce Beach.
Bruce
That's supposed to be
Beach.
given back to the people.
That's
You know what I'm saying? That was our
beautiful,
beach. You know what I
man.
mean?
That's
And I
beautiful.
just recently was over there and I seen the Bruce Beach like thing. And somebody explained to me how it was a black beach. And lo and behold, 6 months later, everybody's talking about it. And now it's about to be given back to the descendants. So it's like, the internet makes it to where this information can't be hidden no more. Where it's like, the only people that felt it was us. You know what I'm saying? Now other cultures are starting to see it. So we're starting to see a little bit of change for sure. We just got to continue to stay organized and push forward. You know what I'm saying? We be so unorganized. You know what I mean? If we
That
could
part.
organize.
Oh my
people,
gosh.
Man, what?
Which brings up another question. Again, as you can see, I caught up all last week on Sullivan Nation, right? So the last Sullivan Nation point brings up exactly what you said. The unorganization, focusing on the differentiation between movements that started in the Black church.
Got you.
Civil rights started in the Black church, right? Black Lives Matter did not.
Yeah, it sure did.
So do you believe that the Black church is failing or not failing, but maybe diminishing amongst the African community? And is that why there's a lack of organization within that movement?
Well, I wouldn't. Well, you go first, bro.
Honestly, I just feel like it's all a part of your upbringing. How you choose to run your household. If you want to choose to, like grow up, have your children grow up in the church and, explain to them, the reason why you're doing it. It's just nowadays, like the world is just so broad and it's just so much that you can learn from everything, everyone around you. So I think nowadays people are more open-minded and like they're not like confining themselves just to the Black church. But I mean, I feel like it's something that's, should be, a staple in people's household, at least till the kids are old enough to make their own decision, like at least bring them up in it,
Yeah, I feel like I don't feel like the Black church has failed us per se, because I would say that like it's just a different time where nowadays, like our generation, you know what I mean? Like the generation, the ones that's in the streets when something happens, those are the people that's like a little bit younger than me. And they out there and they don't have a grasp on going to church and whatnot. They may see, Kendrick Lamar in the street and that inspired them to stand up. You know what I mean? So it's just a different time. We not, the figures of, of that time was Martin Luther King and Jesse Jackson, you know what I mean? And they were the part of the Black church, but you know what I mean? We just have to follow. We have to, as young people, not rely on celebrities and celebrity culture, you know what I mean? Because they just like us, they just got rich, you know what I'm saying?
Right, that part, right
you know what I
there.
mean? They literally going through the same things we are, you know what I mean? So we can't rely on that, but there's still some voices out there and whatnot. I just won't say that you know what I'm saying, like the church failed us or anything like that, because there's still a lot of people that's still speaking on our behalf. Even, the minister Louis Farrakhan still speaking on our behalf and whatnot. He's always a great guidance for everybody, you know what I mean, and whatnot. So it's just, about tapping in with the right people and, doing that really honestly helps our organization and whatnot.
Yeah, I mean, I'll just say that, the church hasn't failed us. I would say that the Black Lives Matter organization itself, in a way has failed us because it's like, they have benefited from the suffering of the African Americans who have been unjustly taken away from us. But it's like, I haven't really heard them, actually give back to the community from what they benefited. I mean,
no, for sure.
I mean, we just had the lady buy like 4 houses.
What lady bought 4 houses?
The leader of the Black Lives Matter organization.
It's crazy. I mean, I've been
Wow.
around
I
like
didn't hear
the
that.
organization. It's a very and no shade on them, just from what I seen. It was a little unorganized from when I seen when I was at an event and whatnot. So I honestly I don't know if it's some shady going on. I don't even want to put that on them or nothing like that. But I will say that it's definitely disorganization, like we just said, you know what I mean, within that, because you know what I mean, I do know that they're not that much older, you know what I mean? So like, it could be just them being, what I'm saying, younger and, and whatnot. But just from what I see, even us relying on Black Lives Matter just kind of blew up. And then like we put them in the limelight, like as they were like the social justice kings and queens. Nah, they weren't, you know what I mean? Like I said, they wasn't perfect either. They just was ready to fight, you know what I'm saying? So I just give them that for that, you know what I'm saying? But they not like, it's not like they just like, a replacement, you know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? Let them, you know what I'm saying? It's like, but a lot of us, we say, I've heard a lot of bad stuff, and I try not to be negative. I heard a lot of bad stuff about that particular movement, but then it's like, what have you done though? You know what I'm saying? It's like, you know what I mean? It just take some more work, some more organization, you know what I'm saying? And from there, we should be able to move forward, you know what I mean? And then still, like I said, it's people we can go and tap into, you know what I'm saying? People that's already been our, our guidance already, you know what I mean? Like I already mentioned.
This has been an amazing time. You had a good time?
I had a great time.
Had a good time.
You
I did
think
not
you guys will come
expect
back?
it. Oh, of course.
Okay. All right.
Hell yeah.
Talk to Lord Rocker. King Lord Rocker and see what do you have? You have so many things going on, sir. Yes, he is. He's an amazing guy. Yes, he is. He is the epitome of a king, a Lord, all of that. All of that. Thank you so much for coming in tonight, sir. I truly appreciate you and everything you do. You are an amazing inspiration. And
Yes,
that's just the way it is.
definitely.
Yeah, I'm my heart is warm too. Any last shout outs you guys want to give everybody for them handles and stuff? Go ahead, babe.
Follow me on Instagram. What is my Instagram? 360 Bones.
I know. At 360 Bones.
360 Bones. Follow me on Instagram. Okay. Tap in all of the links that I got in my bio. Listen to all my music. Run it up. Even if you don't listen to it, just put it on repeat and go to sleep. Run it up.
That's what I'm gonna do tonight.
You funny, bro.
All right, this is gonna be a good time.
I'm just gonna say my Instagram, like I said, it's the same as my Twitter. Also, my email address, everything is Mixed by CA. That's MIXEDBYCA. I'm your sonic extraordinary engineer. If you want to tap in for a mix or a song, you know what I'm saying? I'll let you.
He is the future of sound. Y'all better stop playing and tap in with my boy.
All praise due to the Most High.
Amen. All praise be to Allah. First certain. You ready, Mama Sita? What you got for us tonight, Lady G?
Well, just to thank all of you for coming and hanging out with us and sharing again. Lord Rocket, thank you so much. And we invite you all back. I'm going to be bugging you to come back.
I know y'all going to be partying that one weekend, but if you're not partying, hit us up.
Whatever other weekend, we got you.
Things change. Let us sister know.
Exactly.
We're going to have some fun times, though. This is, things are opening back up. We got a lot of things coming up. So I appreciate you guys so much. Thank you for coming. Whatever we can do, we got you covered like a blanket.
We do.
Appreciate that. For sure.
And Rashid, why don't you give us one more of Aaron's songs on our way out?
Oh, yeah. You can play Good Weather. This is.
It's 8 o'clock.
Oh, wow, that's crazy. Well, go stream Good Weather on all platforms.
Good Weather, all platforms, ladies and gentlemen.
That was good.
Yeah, but I was saving that one for last.